Oh, we're live. What kind of fucking bullshit is like?
Dude, he does this every week.
The bad news is that civilization is crumbling around you.
Wear a dog mask, cut your dick off, bomb Palestine.
The good news is that you are not alone.
There's butthole shaving videos.
Feel bad for the minorities in LA for having to deal with the white people in LA.
You have 5 till midnight, live every Monday at 8 p.m. where you join 5 Limp Bizkit Americans to laugh at the absurd nonsense of the end of history.
Shit show right there.
Sam, stop it!
Never gets old. It never does.
Every
I'm
time.
pretty sure this is actually what next? Oh, I'm not even going to be here for it. Next week is going to be a year 55, right? No, because we missed one.
52.
This may be
we just
52?
skipped it. We're over a year.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well,
Just like
no.
1 or 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did.
I figure
I
hundreds
think
is the big
just
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
You know-
didn't think we'd been doing this for a year already.
Yeah. I know.
Holy
Time flies when we're
crap.
having fun and we're all working for the Chase Oliver campaign. You know,
We all take our time.
we'll take our time off. Mandated Chase Oliver time off.
Yeah, I guess just so everybody's aware in advance, I will be on the Chase Oliver campaign next week. I'm going to be campaigning in Florida, and we're going to be going over to the Bermudas, and I'm going to try and advertise at the Sharks. So I may
The
get
Bahamas.
bit. Yeah, we're going to be in the we're going to be in Bimini and Nassau.
Bermuda is one place though. So I'm asking, you're going to the Bahamas? Bermuda
Yeah, we're
is an
go-
island. There's no
Well-
Bermudas. It's just
Did I
the
say
one
I'm
Bermuda.
sorry, I meant to say Bahamas.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's my bad. No, we're going to be going to Bimini and then Nassau.
Lucky. I'm going to Mexico. I can't wait to go to Mexico on fucking Thanksgiving. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh, you know what?
I'm
I've
in
always
Texas.
my dad has told me so many times that he wants to like get me and like his entire family, pretty much like me, my older brother and younger siblings, all to go down to Mexico together, and it sounds awesome. I think I was like starting to look at it for like the Sammy Hagar Hotel, Cabo Wabo, or whatever it is. I want to say for like 7 or 8 people. This is gonna sound crazy, just like off the top of your head, but it was like $10,000 for like 6 or 7 people.
No, that's actually pretty good.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
when you actually think about that, like food and everything for like 7 or 8 people for like 10, 11 grand, it's actually pretty reasonable. for,
No,
like, a
so where
week.
I go in Mexico every single year
It's
is
ridiculous
this
that
place
it's
called Live
reasonable, but-
Aqua. It's fucking awesome, and it's all again like I was saying off air. It's all inclusive. So I think
Yeah.
I mean the prices always vary, but usually for 2 of us we pay like $1,500 to $2,000 each for 6 days, 5
Mhm.
days, 6 days. All you can eat, all you could drink. For me, it's pointless. 'Cause I don't drink, but the food's fucking
Yeah.
sick. So,
Oh, yeah.
so it's kind of fucking worth it. That's what I'm saying. Totally worth it. Anyway, hide your pets and ducks, or
Yeah.
hide your ducks and
They're
cats.
eating the dogs. They're eating the.
That was-
they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
That was awesome.
Based. Loved it.
I couldn't stop laughing as soon as you said that. There were like a lot of sleeper hits there. It wasn't Trump's best performance, but like the hits that he landed were good. There were
Yeah.
some jabs, but like the best one that nobody talked about was I was going to give her a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about that. Like that was like the greatest one.
I also like
And
when
then
he's outright was
someone-
like, "You're a communist." He just,
I
like,
think-
told her to her face.
Which is so stupid because she's obviously not.
It's
Like,
hilarious. It doesn't matter.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I think that that's the whole point of debates now. It's not really about like debating topic. It's like whatever can get clipped into like 1-minute segments and thrown on
Yeah.
like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Twitter. That's what wins you. The fucking
You hear a
debate.
lot of people kind of talk about this lately about like the myth of something, right? Not like that it is a myth, but like the general like sentiment around it, right? And I think that's kind of what debate is now, because debate is dead. Like nobody's mind got changed over the course of that debate. Like maybe there were some moderates that were watching that and maybe thought like, okay, if you're not in the know and you hear Trump just randomly say they're eating the dogs, the pets, and the cat, you're probably like, what the fuck is going on here? So
Yeah.
maybe some people change their mind there. I don't know. I can't, I don't speak for those people, but like for the people in the know, people who are involved, which is increasingly more and more people as like the government gets bigger and bigger and like the culture war becomes all consuming. I think people are looking for those kind of like myths, right? Where
Yeah.
like the moment of Trump saying they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. People are looking for that because, like you said, it gets clipped, It goes viral. People know about it, and people will continue to say this because what happened in the 2016 debates. It's good that somebody with the temperament of Donald Trump doesn't have access to nuclear codes. And what was his response? Everybody remembers, because you'd be in jail.
Yeah. Oh, what a banger line.
Exactly. But
Banger line.
nobody watching that debate was sincerely thinking that like Trump and Hillary were actually going to like debate brass tacks, like actual policy or anything like that. They were watching it for the fucking blood sport. And I don't blame them at all, because it was one of like, at least in like current day American history, some of the most memorable moments ever.
But even
debates fun to watch.
Exactly.
Like, dude, Marines and on base were like, dude, we're watching the debates tonight. And I'm like, what? This has never happened before. Like, why?
But, dude, even this past debate, like Kamala, she was just like so like reading a teleprompter almost. She kept looking into the camera being like, and it's like so scripted and rehearsed, and Trump's like, again, just like, they're eating fucking pets in Ohio. You're like, yeah, that guy's way more fun.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so weird that we can't figure out like what's true about that and not, but it seems like from what I've seen that was not in Springfield and it wasn't a Haitian.
Okay, so my understanding of it, there was that video
was definitely not from Springfield and not a Haitian. But
right, it was just a black American woman, right?
To give credit to it, there was people in Springfield that reported that. Now, I don't know if there's evidence.
City council meetings saying it outwardly, so it's like,
yeah. My understanding of what happened was, and I think I sent the video. Pete shared it, and there was a guy who lives in Springfield saying that there were literally Haitians there who went to a park and they found geese and they were killing the geese and eating them.
And there was a picture of that. And I don't know if that happened or not. But
that's just what has largely been like people have. And once again, take it for what it's worth. There's a lot of eyewitness testimony that supports that. Does that mean it's happened for sure? I don't know. I haven't been there. I don't know where Springfield is exactly. But the point still stands is that like there are enough eyewitness accounts that people believe it. And it is my understanding is that allegedly this is kind of the way that some Haitians live, and you can't discount the fact that like the U.S. has completely ruined Haiti. Like a lot of this does kind of boil down to
France.
Well,
yeah, maybe not just the U.S., but like, there's a lot of interventionism going on within Haiti.
But the Haitian, I mean, Sam will probably know more than I do about this, but like they kicked out all the French, killed all the whites. We're like, we're poor now. It's like, they blamed it on. Like,
okay, yeah. I'm talking about more like maybe recently, like within the last like 20 years.
But dude, the U.S. has been meddling everywhere forever, and so have all these other countries. Like that's been going on for millennia. It's like large countries mess with the inner politics of small countries. So like, if you look at it from that perspective, it's like it's not like Haiti was messed with more than other countries, but somehow they're not as well off as El Salvador.
And this goes to the kind of the discussion around IQ and perhaps like cultural beliefs, which I do believe that this probably like there's two factors here, and that's. I couldn't tell you where exactly it falls on both ends, right? Because there's definitely an IQ factor, and there's definitely the factor that the U.S. and then let's say other countries as well have kind of both kind of.
I don't give any credence to the U.S. and interventionist policies.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the intervention in Haiti has helped them. It probably has hurt them, but they have their own problems. That
we're not the cause.
It's not the cause. But you guys want to know an interesting little fact about Haiti? Do you know who the richest man in Haiti is?
It's a Jewish guy.
Yeah.
No way. That's so funny. That's so funny.
Every single Steen time. Goldman.
Tyrone Goldstein.
and he was connected to Jeffrey Epstein. It's Gilbert Bigino. Bigio.
He's the only Haitian billionaire.
I thought it was going to be like barbecue Steen or something like that.
Yeah, by the way, I did see a guy eat another human being in Haiti. So, like, I'm not going to gloss over that they're probably eating ducks and cats in Ohio. If cooking and eating human beings in down there.
I would believe it. It's just that, like, yes, but there's real precedent for this stuff. It's like voodoo does that. I started reading up on some of the anthropological literature on this just to see like what has been written down. Like so voodoo in Haiti is a syncretic religion that is largely based in West African religions, mixed with Catholicism from the French. And like they're both in West Africa, like where it's from, largely Yoruba and other beliefs. They have sacrifices of people and of animals. That's a thing. I thought it was mostly goats and pigs and chickens, which it seems like it is mostly goats and pigs and chickens. I tried to find references of cats being sacrificed, cats and dogs, which I did find them, both in West Africa and in Haiti. So there is precedent for this. There was also, I mean, the revolution itself, where I guess I had never heard this before, but I guess they decided they were going to kill all of the white people in Haiti. They specifically said that.
Yeah.
And then also, they started the revolution thing, their revolution and genocide essentially, with a pig sacrifice.
Wow.
And there was also in 1846. A lot of people don't know that in Haiti during the revolution there were three factions. There were whites, and then the other group either called mulattoes or coloreds, and then blacks. And then the mulattoes / colored, they were mixed black and white. And in 1846, there was a guy who was more Catholic, and he was a mulatto. He was mixed. I'm just using the verbiage of the time. I know we don't really say that anymore, but that's what it said in the historical references.
Mulatto sounds like a drink you could buy at Starbucks. I'll have a grande mulatto.
Almost like a macchiato, yeah. No, there was a court case, and it was proven in court that these people sacrificed one of their nieces, a 12-year-old girl. And it received a lot of international attention. And the response to it, there were 4 men and 4 women who were executed for this. And they had to train the executioners to be able to do it. And apparently they still screwed it up. And they had to, eventually it like didn't work. And they had to they literally brought the executioners by firing squad to put the rifles right up, or I think they were rifles, right up to the chests of the people being executed. Which is
that's a rough way to go.
They couldn't hit them from like 10 feet away, which is hilarious. And then I found some stuff in West Africa where like there was this woman who was in the Peace Corps who was writing about animal sacrifices in West Africa, where this is from. And dude, that was crazy. She showed images of like her host family's cats, and I guess they only sacrifice like cats, or maybe other animals as well, but this one was referencing cats, if their body is like perfect. So what they did, they showed pictures of cats with clipped ears to prevent them from being abducted and sacrificed.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and there's plenty of examples in a lot of Stone Age herbalists work of human and animal sacrifices today in a lot of parts of Africa as well as other places. And there's references of this happening in Europe plenty of times prior to the Crusades. And when I say Crusades, I don't mean the ones in the Middle East, but the ones
in Europe.
Well, pre-Christianity, but the ones in Europe, largely in like the Baltic states, and with Celtic culture.
Did you guys see that video of this poor little boy was killed in Springfield by a Haitian driver? And the father goes to like the community board. He's like, I wish he was killed by a 60-year-old white man. What a fucking pussy.
Dude,
First of all, maybe say, I wish my son wasn't killed at all. I would start there. But like after that, it's like, dude, what is that?
You're
Why
too
not
small.
They're teachers.
Yeah, being called
trying
racist to him meant that it was worse that his son, or it was worse to be racist than to have your son killed.
Yeah, no, liberals really are the bane of my existence, dude. I am becoming more right wing every day. I swear to God. I can't. I really am. I can't fucking take them. I can't take their fucking brain.
That's why I really like the Trump said the cats and the dogs thing. It might be a little hyperbolic. I don't know how true it is. I mean, there could be truth to it, but it really doesn't matter. What matters is bringing attention to this thing going on in Springfield, Ohio, because it's like 60,000 residents, and then they get dropped in like 20,000 Haitians. That's like an insane amount
Yeah.
of demographic shift that they have to deal with from people that are very culturally different from them. I mean, it's just like insane to expect these people just to put up with it and or just have to. I mean, the craziest thing I saw out of there wasn't even like the pet thing. To me, was actually like they were just giving out driver's license to these guys.
nuts.
Like,
So
they
that
just showed
video,
up and they gave them driver's license. I was like, that's insane, dude.
the video that I was talking about earlier, the guy was saying that there were like 12 people living in a tiny house, and it's like we kind of don't do that here. Like for the most part,
Yeah.
it's like people live in houses. It's like a single family home. At most, you're maybe going to see 6 people in a house at one time. But he said there were like over a dozen people just stacking up in a house. And the guy had said that like there was a bus driver out there and he was laying on the horn for like 5 minutes waiting for these people to come out. And he actually went out to the people. And this guy runs like a car channel or something like that. He went out there and told him, "Can you stop hitting on the horn and go up and knock on the door?" Because they were hitting the horn to get the people out, but like fucking dude's just sitting there laying on the horn. Like
Who
these
was laying on the horn?
the Haitians, a Haitian driving like a van. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear, but yeah. So like there was a Haitian guy that was sitting outside of a house where there was like 12 or 13 Haitians living inside the house, and the Haitian driver was just laying on the horn for minutes
Trying to
on
get them
end.
to come out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Whoa,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
That's
so like
such
imagine
a-
like how do you reckon with somebody that doesn't know, like, hey, maybe I should have some like common decency and like be respectful of the people that are around here, especially if it's like a quiet neighborhood, which
it's a cultural difference, right? They probably didn't even realize they were doing anything wrong or disturbing anybody.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
that's what we talked about last week, though, about like how our ancestors came here and just totally assimilated. Like again, like I said, my grandparents' parents were like, "You're fucking learning English. You're not. We're doing American shit." They don't give a fuck, dude. They don't give a fuck. They have no interest in assimilating to American culture. But we're supposed to constantly like respect other cultures as white Americans, or just as Americans, actually, not even white Americans, as Americans in general.
Yeah.
And they can just do what the fuck they want, completely, carte blanche.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, at what point do we say like we're not allowing you to just live here without kind of assimilating to the culture and the norms of our communities? And I put out a tweet like, I really think what they should have done is go up to the bus driver and tell him, you can take those Haitians back or we will take them back.
Yeah. Well, what's
You
even
decide. You decide who drives the bus, but they are going back.
Yeah.
Right.
You do not have a choice.
What I thought was more insane too was so they interviewed the Ohio governor about
Mike
this,
DeWine, yeah.
and he like really said that we actually don't mind them coming here and like names off a bunch of reasons. He just wished that the federal government would give them more money for the people there. And it's like, dude, even red Republican governors are useless in this situation. Like he's not only trying to stop it, he's trying to enable it and get some sort of profit for his state because of it. And
it's
just
also
leave it on the drive.
One of the big parts about this, and I understand there's all these other cultural differences. We can talk all about that, but the economic ramifications of this are huge because like the people really benefiting from this are business owners, large business owners that are able to benefit from a lower expectation of labor rights. I mean, there's been some stuff I've seen.
That's very true.
That's kind of been squashed, but I think it's very important. It's like there was a business owner interviewed who was talking about how like, oh, like these Haitians, they'll work 7 days a week. They don't care. Like, and I'm sure like this is a cultural difference. They probably are more harder working than a lot of Americans, but like we have a culture that protects labor rights, not even like compared to the rest of the Western world, we're really bad at it. Americans are, but we're much better than a country like Haiti. And when workers have less of bargaining power because they're being replaced by another workforce that's willing to work for less, it has serious ramifications for an already like impoverished community. It's a big deal, and I think people on the right especially don't want to talk about that because it makes you sound like a communist. But I don't care. That's a problem.
This even goes back to like where the minimum wage came from because all the slaves were freed and they were big businesses were importing ex-slaves to replace their already existing workers because they can pay them a lower wage. So the people that were working demanded there be a minimum wage so these people they're importing cannot undercut their wages. This is where minimum wage came from.
I didn't
Well,
know that.
and like the other thing is that like you have to consider if these people are willing to work for so little, then that's likely because they're not able or understand the purpose of like labor saving devices, right? Like I use tools at my job, air tools at my job that make me quicker and more
Oh
efficient, or
yeah,
electric tools, right?
so much better.
So like if you think about this and you apply this to the third world, they probably don't have these labor saving devices, so therefore they're less efficient with their time. While they may be more industrious, right? They may be willing to work longer hours and work longer. That doesn't necessarily mean they're working more efficiently. On the same side of the token, though, there are jobs like some of these jobs may not be jobs that people care about in the first place, anyways. And I'm not saying that that makes it okay to just, fire your workforce or say, like, hey, you guys should step up because these people are willing to work longer hours. But at the same time, there probably are some jobs out there that like we would not work because they wouldn't be work that we would want to do. Like I'm not going to take a huge pay cut to go work a job that somebody with a 85 IQ could go work, right? I mean, I'm clearly capable of something better than that. So,
But a bad job at $15 an hour is different from that same job at $30 an hour, right? Like
yeah.
there's jobs that you're more willing to do at a different price point. And also like all of us have skills. It's not like a Haitian is not going to take my job, but like it's the most it's like the most vulnerable Americans that get harmed by this type of thing,
Yeah.
because the most vulnerable Americans are the ones that are competing for jobs with low skilled immigrant labor. So no one cares about them. And in the liberals who claim to care about black people so much, these people, they're of all races. They're of all races and types, but they are disproportionately like black and other poor, disenfranchised communities, like the largely white people in Springfield, Ohio, that are separated from a lot of like industry, and they have been for a long time and have a lot of problems with drugs. It's a thing.
Yeah, well, and this kind of goes to, maybe even like a little bit more of like a liberal argument for closed borders, is that like you should probably want to take care of your own, I hate to say it, but lower IQ and like lower able workers before you take care of the third world, right? Because like if we're more concerned about what's going on in our country right now, then like, hey, let's say blacks or like low status whites who may not be able to work like a high end job that's just out of their mental or physical capabilities. Wouldn't you want to provide for the people who are already impoverished in your own country rather than importing people to do those jobs that we do have perfectly capable people of doing in our own country? Like, once again, raise up the standard of living for the people that live in this country rather than people that don't live in this country, don't share the values. And granted, there probably will be some people that move here who may be able to assimilate, but at the same time, like the people who are already here, in my mind at least, should take priority, because at some point they will have probably contributed some sort of tax or something like this. And this is like where I think a lot of the libertarians who claim to be for open borders or say that like closed borders is a non-libertarian position go wrong, is because like the public resources, you could say this isn't libertarian and fine, okay, whatever. But like the people who
None
are
of us
paying
are
taxes right
libertarians
now,
anymore.
That's so true.
I still consider
That's
myself
so
a
fucking
libertarian.
true. I mean, to the normal person, I say that, but to us, I don't.
Right. But like, so like the argument is, and I'm sure all you guys would agree, but for the listeners, it's basically, we work, we pay taxes, therefore we have more, in my opinion, of a say and like more of a right to public resources because we're paying into it. People from the third world or people who come here and don't really work a job for any period of time, they haven't really contributed anything. So why should they benefit from a system that they didn't pay into?
Well, it's like the same thing. Like we have how many homeless vets that are fucking putting shotguns in their mouth, and it's like we're giving, again, like New York City was giving like $10,000 per like immigrant and shit like that. It's like, well, what about these guys?
That's so crazy. Yeah,
it's fucking nuts, dude.
Well, and like the other thing is, it's like
Springfield getting money, but I haven't been able to confirm it. I don't.
So
in New York, they straight up did.
The reason why I'm not like completely 100% no immigration is all because like I think about my one buddy Erwin. Yeah, you can say the Zando, but like whatever. My buddy Erwin, who lives right up the road from my in-laws, has been here for 20, 30 years. He's been the parts manager at one of the dealerships I work for 2 decades now. He has a family. He's paid taxes. His kids go to public schools. He buys all domestic vehicles. He works for a domestic car dealership. In my opinion, this dude's paid his dues, whatever people want to say. He's married to a European white woman, and as far as I'm concerned, he's just as much as part of the culture as anybody else.
Yeah, I don't think any
People
of us
like
are
that.
against immigration.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, but
the type of immigration coming in the last
right.
5 years is very
It's
different.
the
Exactly,
complete
right.
unvetted, like just through anybody
Exactly.
comes through. A
Right.
bunch of just military age men with no woman or children walking through the border. It's like, oh, that's
Yeah,
suspicious,
and
huh?
I think it has to do too with like how many are coming and then what amount of time.
Exactly.
Because
right.
that will change the culture of your country. If you have it lower numbers and you vet the people and bring them in at a certain amount of time, that gives them time to assimilate to the culture. That literally
Right.
gives them time to become more accustomed to American values.
But type of my point is, do they want to do that?
Well,
Like we're
true,
assuming
yeah.
that they are going to be like, oh, I want to be like that used to be the case, but dude, I don't fucking see that shit anymore.
Well,
I was in,
I
I
think
was in
people come
Marshall's the other day with
schools
my
in the
wife in fucking suburban ass Pennsylvania, and there was a whole family speaking some sort of fucking Eastern European or something like that. I was like, dude, these girls were like teenagers. They weren't like 67-year-old women. They were like very young, and I was like, oh, that's probably a problem.
They're not teaching assimilation in public schools.
Yes.
Like if we're going to have public schools, government schools, then they should be teaching the culture. But instead, it literally the praxis right now for education, this is what I learned in education college, is accommodation, not assimilation. That's literally how they frame it.
How we're going to help.
So
Would you argue too that they're teaching them to hate our culture?
Yes.
I mean, that's a separate thing. Like, I would say yes, as my opinion, but this other thing is not my opinion. I'm telling you that from the top education, like I went to probably number one, definitely top 10 education colleges in the country. This is where they're creating the policy.
Yeah.
The federal secretary of education went, he did his post-grad at the teaching college that I went to, the University of Connecticut.
Gotcha.
So this is where this is where it comes down from, these types of things. And I'm not lying to you, like accommodation versus it's not my opinion. This is what they're doing. They're teaching accommodation.
They're outright stating this. Right?
Oh, they're stating it explicitly. It's accommodation over assimilation. And they're teaching that assimilation is bad. And like at that point, you don't have a country anymore. You have an economic zone.
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make any
And
sense.
I think that's when people talk about the military age males, I think it's because they largely look at the US as an economic zone. They're not looking at it. I don't think there's like this giant invasion of sleeper cells or something like that. I think it's just because they look at America as an economic zone and they think like, hey, the opportunity is here and we're being given incentives to come here. So therefore we're going to come here because this may be a good place to start a family. But
and none of that would matter if they stayed here and had kids and those kids were taught assimilation. None of it would matter.
And also,
Yeah,
Kyle, I don't think it's like some sort of like video game sleeper cell where they're going to become terrorists. It's not, I mean, like you have a bunch of again like 25-year-old dudes with no families coming here, and then the Democratic Party is like, oh, come take whatever you want. They're also joining the military at a fucking high clip. It's like, and who are they going to fight for? Right? Like they're going to fight for the fucking people who gave them a fucking shot. So it's like, which is the fucking left. And that's not good.
Right.
This is actually a well-known like political tactic used as in like the British Empire knowingly did this to places when they were trying to colonize places. They would send loads of immigrants to certain places that they knew would mess up with the culture and interfere with places. And they knew these people would be more loyal to them. They were doing this with the French in America multiple times, trying to infiltrate other parts so they can expand and disrupt the French colonies for themselves. So like, I think in a lot of ways, this is like they're intentionally doing this to certain places in America because they're trying to cause disruption. And also, I mean, votes. I mean, right now, at least in the short term, it's for votes. Like they're like these people are getting IDs for driver's license. Like once you get a driver's license, you can easily turn around and
vote,
fucking vote, right?
I'm an American citizen now. Boom. And it's like they're what's crazy? We talked about this for a half hour. Trump got shot at again.
Totally. That kind of like it's just normal.
Like a thing now. Yeah.
We're gonna be like 3 weeks from now, like, oh, it happened. He got shot.
It happened again. It's crazy. It's like the sun rising. It's like Trump got shot at, the sun rose today.
Yeah, there was there was someone that tweeted, it's like, you
Wait,
know,
he
the
didn't
second
actually
time,
get shot at though. I think the guy was just trying to get to him, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
so
you know
like
my
this,
point.
I don't know if it's true, but I did
No, I
see
just want to
that
make sure we don't spread.
apparently he was
Yeah.
trying to get to Trump. The Secret Service engaged him, and
Yeah.
this is from what I saw, he exchanged fire with the Secret Service. But
Well,
I don't
everybody
know if that's
sucks
true.
then. No one hit anybody.
well, yeah, so like they're like the stormtroopers, right?
They really are.
One of my coworkers told me this, and I didn't look into it, but supposedly he was at the location of the next hole that Trump was going to be golfing at. And I saw some stupid fucking right winger saying Trump shot again. I'm like, let's
No,
relax.
he wasn't shot. Yeah, I was just being
Yeah,
facetious.
Trump's okay, man. He announced he's okay. Let's all take a breather. I understand everybody wants Patreon dollars. If you tell people there's a civil
Right.
war, they could buy your food bucket and you can feel good about fucking putting your beanie on and screaming about civil war. It's not that serious, bro. I promise you. We're
But
okay.
it is a genuine concern that people keep trying to take him out.
Well, yeah, and like this is the fault of the media. When I had my
Right.
buddy Shane on, who was actually fired for the vaccine mandates, he's one of the first, and like the first 25 guests I had on my show. He was at the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and I should have talked to him a little bit more about this, but one of the reactions that I loved to see was everybody stopped and turned right after that happened and looked at the news reporters there and said, "This is your fault."
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
they're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And actually, Doc Coyle from Bad Wolves had just responded to me on Twitter because he said something about, and it's not entirely a bad point, where he said that like Trump and JD Vance are calling Kamala communists and all this, and this is inflammatory rhetoric. It's a fair point, but let's talk about what happened over the last 10 years and how
Right.
hysterical the left has been about Trump. Like, you can say that Trump has had, rhetoric that, could encourage people to do whatever. Okay, whatever. But versus how the left has been over the last 10 years, there's no comparison.
No, they're
There's
quite
no
literally
fucking
saying
comparison.
he's a dictator that will take away your rights. Like he's
Exactly.
ending democracy.
Right.
It's like
democracy.
it's
destroying our
fucking
entire
wild. And by the
country.
way, he was the president already, and none of that happened. And they're still
That's
using
what I
the
mean.
same exact rhetoric as they did in 2016 and 2020.
Yeah.
And it's like this is why I fucking hate the average leftist. Like who was I talking? Oh, your buddy Kyle, Red Hawk, whatever the fuck his name is.
Red Hawk, yeah.
I wasn't talking to him, but he posted a thing on Twitter about one of Matt Walsh for the I Am Racist movie got like the producer, not the producer, got one of those DEI people to like give his cameraman who was black money out of his own pocket. And I was like, leftists are retarded, right? And he's like, no, they're not. He's like, they're all in the positions of power. I was like, hold on. I get, yes, you're the ones in power are smart. I'm talking about the average leftist is fucking retarded. like the guy who works next door to you is dumb as shit. Like, I'm not talking about the people who got the power are smart enough to fucking connive their way and know what they're doing, who are on the left.
Yeah.
Agreed with him on that. But the average fucking plumber, guy who works at the gym, who's a lefty, is lower IQ than a child. And I'll die on that fucking hill.
I don't think it's IQ that's the issue. I think it's
Whatever,
socialization.
Sam. You know what I'm saying?
I would even argue.
No, it's worse because they're
This-
not not
Brainwashed. They have no
This-
creative original thought. Zero.
Yeah, that's what
Dude, I mean, I put out
socialization
that
is.
Ukraine
Thank
tweet
you.
the other day that keeps going off about the fucking where I was like, no Ukrainian would die on American soil if it was reversed. You know how many fucking dumb Europeans and dumb leftists are in my comments being like, we're Germany, World War II, but it's like you guys are fucking dumb as shit. Like I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about how wrong you are because you're not gonna listen to me. But like they're all fucking. My point is, they all parrot the same exact fucking response. It's like copy paste. No one's like, oh, actually, that's a good point. It's just copy pasted responses constantly. It's fucking it's crazy.
I do see the same thing from like MAGA people when they say stuff like Kamala
sure.
Harris is a
Yeah, they're dumb
communist, which
too.
is absolutely
I
ridiculous.
would
Yeah.
argue that
Yeah.
the higher IQ you have, the more likely you are to fall for the propaganda in a lot of ways.
Wait, say that again, Type. I didn't hear you. Say it again.
The higher IQ you have, the more likely you are to fall for propaganda. And the reason I really
Education is
believe
indoctrination.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, you're right.
education, and I think that I think a lot of the rich elite people fall for the propaganda all the time. They're surrounded by it. They work with these people. They do interviews with these people or talk to them. They go to parties with them and cocktails with them. So that is their reality, like what the news tells them.
Well,
Because
it's very easy to believe in the propaganda when you benefit from it in a lot of ways.
that
It's
is true
very
too.
hard to get a man to believe in something when his whole entire paycheck depends on
Yes.
him not
Yes.
believing.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why this might be controversial, but I think white people are more susceptible to propaganda.
No, no,
so
I believe you wholeheartedly, Typo. I agree with
Asians,
that wholeheartedly.
Asians are the most susceptible, and that's a cultural thing.
There is
They've been beaten into it by every
The-
other
the
fucking
thing is,
Asian
when
country.
when you're a little bit smarter, you can easily convince yourself that you're right because you're like, oh no, I wouldn't believe in bullshit. So of course
Right.
this has to be right.
Yeah.
That's a
Right.
good
We can
point.
convince ourselves into plenty of stupid things. And I mean, fuck, I've done it from time to time. I'm sure we've all probably
We all
fucking
have.
backward rationalized
still a Giants
ourselves into
fan.
Wait,
stupid
Crazy.
positions.
Wait, Sam. The question really is like we are poor whites, not Sam. We are poor whites over on this side. And we like obviously we didn't fall for it. We're not surrounded by it. We hang out with normal people that don't like buy into this bullshit and have like your culture around you kind of have an effect. Sam though, Sam's surrounded by these people. So
Yeah.
the fact that he
Grew up
is
around
like
them.
on our side is a red flag. You don't know what he's trying to do here.
Well,
No,
it's,
it's fu- it's-
non-agreeableness, right? It's like, and
Yeah,
there's a
that's
link
true.
between number one, there's a link between a lack of testosterone. Men that have
Yeah, I
less
saw that.
testosterone,
Also, no
they
shit.
have, yeah, right. They're
I mean,
they're
that's
more
obvious,
likely, and it
but-
does make sense, right? If you're
Yeah.
a man, you can't be, if you're not mentally and physically strong, then the way to defend yourself is through what is more associated with femininity and women, as in less masculine men are essentially women, including liberals, right?
Sure. Yeah.
It's like that's how you defend yourself. Because if you're less capable of defending yourself on your own, then you're just going to go along with the people in power. That's how you protect yourself. That's why we have the Robert Reichs of the world. That's why you see the people that are weakest supporting these policies. They're not willing to go
Fight for
against
what they
them because-
believe.
True.
Right.
Right.
That is true.
Yeah,
Have
it
you
really
seen him?
is
To
like
be
Also
fair,
autism.
To be fair, have you seen Nick Fuentes?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's weird.
I will
He's a
say-
Fed, probably.
I don't know what.
I will say it probably has to do with his Catholicism more than anything else.
Hey, fuck you, Typo.
I'm not saying he's right all the time or he's the most masculine dude. I'm saying that he's pretty devout Catholic.
Yeah.
But I work out
also
every day. I'm Catholic. What the fuck?
All I'm saying is like I think if you this is what I'm saying is the caveat is like if you're in a religious community and you're going to be against the regime, like it doesn't matter like
Yeah,
if you
that's true.
like what religion you really are. It's just if you grew up in a very hyper religious community, I think that does something to you. I don't know.
I think
I
it
say
depends.
that, but there is like it is like only 60% of Catholics vote Republican. Like 40%.
Well, I think it
Catholics still
depends. So,
vote
like,
Democrat.
you have a lot of like different churches right now that have female pastors, which is like a big no-no.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a
And I don't know what
Protestant thing,
specific like
unfortunately.
denominations this
That's
would
not
be.
Catholic.
Methodist mainly.
Methodist, maybe Protestant.
Dude,
I don't know
Methodists
what other ones.
need to be deported.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very, very ignorant of that kind of stuff, but obviously there are a lot more. So it's not necessarily that, uniform. If you're religious, you're against the globo
Regime,
homo
yeah.
kind of deal, right? Mandatory
Well,
testosterone. Okay, so you know what?
I'm
There's
just saying
like-
that the largest voting bloc for Republican, like this is actually sad to say,
evangelicals.
is evangelical Christian.
Right.
And it's actually sad to say that. And what I mean by that is like evangelical Christians have lost this country so much that they are now reduced to a voting bloc. They used to be the fucking standard across this
Yeah.
nation. Now they're considered a voting bloc now. And that's kind
I
of
see
like
what you're saying. Yeah.
that's kind of like embarrassing on their part. In a lot
So
of
to
ways.
Luke's question, I believe there has been talk about kind of not like big name talk, but it's been kind of floated around about banning testosterone. Testosterone comes from yams, is my understanding right now, like the TRT injections. So I wouldn't be surprised if they start kind of dicking around with something with this, because this is a way for like older guys to get an edge up, literally physically, mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, like TRT is really, really good for older dudes, especially once they start getting down there. And obviously, like I did a whole podcast on testosterone, and like generally in the vast majority of cases, the reason why people's testosterone is low is because they're fat. That's really it. It's
Yeah.
not the microplastics. It's
Really?
not this. It's not all this crazy stuff. It's literally because you're fat. There was a study done with 5 countries over in Europe, if I remember correctly, and it was like dead correlation 1-to-1. As you got more obese, your testosterone just went lower and lower and lower. And if you look at a course of like how many calories we consume from like the 70s up until now, just everything goes up from about 1970 till now. We eat dramatically more of everything. It's not just fats,
Yeah,
it's not just
that's
carbs, it's not just protein. Although we eat the least amount more of protein, we eat dramatically more of everything, and we
Yeah.
do dramatically less
Look
activity.
at my leg.
Oh.
It's always like I see this trend. It's always people that are not in shape that will complain the most about like seed oils and low testosterone and microplastics. And I'm not saying that those things aren't bad. I think maybe in some cases those things can be bad, but at the same time, I think it's just
We're
people's
talking
own
about
individual.
we're
like,
talking about
what they're
the
doing.
2 to 3%, whereas like sleep, diet quality,
Yeah.
and physical activity are the
Yep.
3 biggest levers you have to change your body in whatever,
Yep.
positive way you want. Whereas like that stuff, we're talking like the 2 to 3%, like your creatine, beta alanine, fish oil, ashwagandha, avoiding seed oils, whatever you want to put in there. That's the 2 to 3%. Whereas, like I said, those other 3 things, sleep, exercise, and nutrition, are like your biggest 3 levers to pull to change your body composition favorably. And like even like when you start breaking down into like the microplastics or even the seed oils, if you really want to go there, you really don't get that much of that kind of stuff to really mess you up. And I'm not saying like you shouldn't avoid them. If you feel better doing it, then hey, placebo is a thing.
But if I accept this, then I have to accept responsibility, and I'm not.
Exactly. Exactly.
See? And that's
Everyone-
the thing. People
Yeah.
don't like accepting responsibility when it comes to nutrition. So when I tell you that, like, hey, you're over time, people as they get older tend to move less and less and less.
Mhm.
What they hear me saying is that you're a fat, lazy piece of shit. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying typically people as they get older,
I'm saying
te-
that.
they tend to do less and less physical activity. So what you should kind of hear from that is like, oh, well, then I just need to, I don't know, go for a walk, work out consistently, or do something, right? Pull one of these levers that you have to change your body in a favorable way. If you have a problem with where you're at right now, if you don't, then obviously stay where you are.
At the gym I'm at right now they have this thing called Rock Steady Boxing, and it's for people with Parkinson's or who are going through
Whoa.
Parkinson's or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not actually boxing. They just do like a boxing like workouts and stuff because one of the guys, this is coming from the guy who I was talking to himself. He said that constant activity and like working out throughout your life actually wards off like Parkinson's and shit like that. So like if you're
Yeah.
constantly
Okay, so-
moving or doing something, it's
Right.
good for your brain and your brain's functioning and brain's constantly moving. So like
Yeah.
you're not, if you're sedentary and shit, that's when all the bad shit starts to fucking happen to you.
So
That's why I'm an advocate about working out every day, no matter what. If I hurt myself or not,
Exactly.
I'm working out.
Dude, I
So
heard
they
the-
consider-
I heard the same thing about is Alzheimer's.
It's all the same. It's all the same shit. Like
So
yeah,
they-
like it's
I
everything.
heard. Listen, I don't know if this is true. I literally watched a 5-minute clip about a TED talk about this. I don't know anything. This is all I know. I'm just saying that before what I prefaced what I'm about to say. But the guy in this video was saying that like Alzheimer's is type
diabetes for the
3
brain.
diabetes, and it's
Type
like
3
a
diabetes,
lack
yeah.
of insulin that's going
Yeah.
into your brain.
Yep.
And it's not that you lose your memories; it's that you lose access to your memories. if that
Right.
makes
So
sense.
basically, like the best way to maintain your IQ as you get older, because your IQ actually decreases, is to continue to do physical exercise because you're continuing to shuttle oxygen up to your brain. As you get older, you also develop anabolic resistance, right? So like when you get in your 60s, 70s, 80s, you actually have to eat more protein to meet your minimum threshold for muscle protein synthesis. And this is also why it's important to resistance train as you get older, because you can find studies where they correlate grip strength with overall mortality, and like the people who have bad grip strength, their mortality is like through the fucking
Dude,
roof.
yes, I was
Mhm.
I was going
What?
to PT. Yes, I was going to PT
Yeah.
for my shoulder. This is like 2 years ago. I was just talking to the fucking PT guy, and he was like, "Oh, what's your grip strength at?" And I gave it. He's like, just for a heads up. He's like, we don't know why, but there's a direct correlation to weak grip strength and dying. And I was like, what?
So okay, the
What?
explanation there. Okay,
I don't
so
know.
I could break this down a little bit. So what happens to older people? How do they typically die? It's typically from a fall or an injury, right? And it's not
Okay.
necessarily like the fall or the injury itself. It's a lack of physical activity. They get pneumonia, they stop moving around as much, and then they can't recover, right? As you're moving around, you're helping your body kind of recover. But if you don't have the grip strength to hold yourself up, and it's also a good proxy for like general holistic strength, right? So when they look at people's grip strength and it's low, then typically that means you're not going to be protected from a fall or an injury or something like that. So you're going to get pneumonia and you're probably going to die if you get older. You don't have any
You
kind of
will get
sufficient lean
pneumonia
mass.
and you will die.
Yeah. Well, so, but I mean, that's why it's so important for older people to stay active, to, consistently eat protein. And I did a whole podcast on this when it came to Eric Adams,
You
and they
gotta
were trying
sun
to
your
encourage.
perineum. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They were telling people that they need to have more plant-based diets in New York. And really, that's going to fucking skyrocket older people's mortality, because older people already have enough difficulties getting in sufficient calories. But now if you're going to restrict them to very low calorically dense foods, then now we're talking about them missing out on protein, which is going to, dramatically drop their potential to keep on the muscle that they have. And then they're going to be at a severe caloric deficit. So they're not going to maintain any kind of weight if you're eating lots of plant food. So like as you get older, you might want to kind of creep up with like maybe some plant fats or, fiber and stuff like that. Foods that are like more calorically dense. So that way you kind of maintain your muscle mass and all your lean mass as you get older.
Interesting.
I'm gonna eat Big Macs
Yeah.
until I die, and you can shove it.
Yeah, because this is America.
Yeah. Just drink like some fiber, some greens powders, or like some fiber with some psyllium husk or something like that. You'll be fine.
Sam, did you just put a Zin in?
I did.
Did you guys see that video? It was like the Nelk boys at Trump's rally, and he goes up there. Yeah, one of the Nelk boys, and he goes up there on to speak for Trump, and he holds up a can of Zin, and he goes, "Tim Walz doubled the tax on Zin. We need to get Trump in office to get rid of that shit."
It's got
That's
my
fucking
vote.
funny.
Nice.
Dude, that was hilarious. I will say, dude, all the blue collar guys I work with were fired up when Trump was saying that he's going to take taxes away on overtime.
Yeah, no
all of
shit,
them were
dude. Of
fired up.
course.
Yeah.
Dude, all of them were talking about that, and then casually sometimes talking about Trump assassination. But the no tax on overtime, dude, they were fucking.
Yeah, they were
on it.
probably like, fucking, it's fucking Teflon Don. He'll be all right. But like, our money, we like
That's
money.
so funny.
Dude, yeah,
I
yeah.
would trade Trump's life for a 10% decrease in taxes.
Not great now. Oh, that reminds
yeah.
me. You guys see the Jeremy Kaufman getting fucking talked to by the Fed?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
inject
did.
Wait, that actually
shit
happened?
into my
Sam,
vein.
go pull
Okay,
up his Twitter right now. Go pull up his
Listen,
Twitter feed right now.
I-
Kaufman, Jeremy Kaufman.
I wasn't going to vote this year, but I may have to write in Jeremy Kaufman for dictator. That's probably what I'm going to do instead.
Why the hell did
Dude, my
Hawthorne
favorite
Real
Jew, bro.
Estate LLC from Connecticut just follow me on Twitter?
Oh,
That sounds suspicious. It sounds like a shell corporation.
It's like 29 followers.
Hmm.
What the hell? It just happened.
Dude, there's so many I'm telling you, dude, that the fucking dead internet theory is real. There's so many fucking bots and shit.
Yeah,
like I'm telling you,
kinda
going through that,
believe
you go through my Ukraine post thread. So many accounts you click on the profile. It's like made August 2024,
holy
made
shit.
September 2024,
Yeah.
made April 20. I'm like, all these accounts are brand fucking new. But like so many accounts are like actually like legacy accounts or like had it more than a year. It's fucking nuts.
Jeremy's
I'm-
video of the FBI was posted at 4:47. It has 7.4 million views.
Yeah, dude, everyone
Dude,
reposted it.
everyone was loving
Dude,
it.
he's been going viral every other day.
Yeah, fucking
He says
I know.
insane
Yeah,
stuff. It's
I
awesome.
love it. The Haitian
Literally
one
my
got
favorite
50
too.
million fucking views. 50
Yeah,
million.
he's gonna make like
yeah.
a lot of money off of that.
Yeah, I
Dude,
know.
he's
Just-
gonna make like
just in
fucking
the
$6,000
ad revenue.
off Twitter.
Yeah, I'm getting close to 1 million impressions in the last 3 months, which is not close to the ad revenue part, but I'm getting up there. Just keep saying inflammatory shit.
I think
Yeah,
I'm at
you know
like
what? I'm-
15 million in 3 months.
Holy
What?
fuck.
15 million, I think, in 3 months.
You?
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Well, no, it's not that good. It's only
Yes, it is. All you need is 3 million
Oh,
to make money, dude.
Jesus.
You talking
no, no,
about?
5 million in 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you got
whatever.
50
But this,
Still.
million
this
in
kind
3
of
months.
stuff increases not at a linear scale, but at a exponential scale. So it's like 15 million is 3 times 5, but it's not really. It's like a little bit more than 5 million in actuality of like work.
Man, I'm so jealous. I was so close, and then ever since I got to like 4 million, they just completely fucking nuked my visibility.
Yeah, dude, I do think that's happening. Like, I don't understand how like I should have more engagement than I do. And I'm not saying I have like a lot of followers. I'm just saying I should have more engagement from my follower account than I do.
Yeah.
Well, mine's been hit or miss. I don't really know. I thought for a while, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm being shadow banned or something. And then I tweeted a couple things not too long ago, and I was like, okay, this feels about right. So I don't know.
It does go up and down for sure for me. Like I'll notice some things hit, some things are completely. But like,
maybe
it's not like it's not retarded. Oh, we all are. That's 100% true. But like we're all autistic as fuck. But like I'll look at like the view. I'm like, how is it only being seen by 70 people? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make fucking sense. Like
right. Yeah, most of my tweets have like under 500 views. Yeah, in fact, most of the ones I've put out today literally have less than 200 views. I'm like,
it doesn't make sense because you have like 3,000 followers. That's my point. So
it's
like
it's 4,000 followers, and I'm only getting 200 views a tweet.
That's my fucking point. It doesn't make sense.
It's algorithmic though. It's not
right. But how does it work?
If people are using the For You more than they're using the following page to like view their timeline, then it's highly likely that they might not see.
I back and forth between following and For You.
I do too, because
only
sometimes the For
don't.
You pisses me off, so sometimes I'll just go to.
But that's good to shit on people you hate on the For You page.
That's I don't. I very very rarely do I ever go to the following.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Wow, we're all very
I
different on Twitter.
Months. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I completely forgot. I used to do it, but I
wild
don't anymore.
I
do it on Twitter Pro, but not on the regular timeline.
I try to do both evenly to I don't know what that means either.
maybe I should just stay on the following for a little bit and see what happens.
Well, I just like the following to catch up to like what my people I follow and so I can catch up.
Right. Yeah. I also like to watch my. So I see what you guys post. I'll try to like repost your guys' shit, to, like boost up.
But I'll go to For You, and it's like I'm getting like 6 leftists that are tweeting stuff I absolutely hate, and I'm like, okay, I'm jumping in here.
That's what I do.
That's what I do. I'm like, oh, time to start a war.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. As soon as I go into the For You tab, I'm like, all right, man, let's fuck some shit up today. Let's fucking go.
I my knuckles. I do the Henry Cavill thing in fucking Mission Impossible.
Time to call people some. Yeah,
I got a 30-minute lunch. I'm fucking using my whole time on Twitter here.
Dude, I was at the gym like doing curls. I put my thing down. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go shit on some leftists. Dude, on some guy, his profile. This is his own profile picture. He's like some fat fucking Hispanic dude, and like with his shirt off, like with the selfie, trying to look sexy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He was talking shit to me. I said, "Bro, you have zero muscle, you fat, disgusting pig." I was like, "What the fuck? What are you doing?" It's fucking wild, fucking wild. I'm like, "You posted this?"
I love Adam's enthusiasm because it'll be like a no profile pic account with like 10 followers, and he's going to war, dude.
I don't give a fuck. They have to know I hate them, and I want them to know I hate them.
Yeah, I usually get those profiles, and like most of my Twitter views have been from shitting on Laura Loomer or Tim Pool. My biggest tweet, I think, was one of those two. Probably the one where I called Tim, where I think I had a picture of it was like the Scooby-Doo thing, and it said, "Who's under this mask?" And they pulled it off, and it was Tim with a yarmulke. And like I just threw that out there as like a throwaway tweet, and it blew up.
Those are always the best ones.
Yeah, and then I knew this one would get a lot of traction, but it was of the day that Trump got shot, and I said, "Breaking Tim Pool rushed to the hospital after experiencing an erection lasting longer than 3 hours, whispering civil war."
I got blocked with Thaddeus Russell too this week.
Yeah, that's pretty funny,
dude. That guy.
Fuck him. I don't give him. He's a fucking whatever. Yeah. I don't want to say.
I enjoy his interviews. His interviews are good, but I
don't give a shit about that
because of what he said about kids.
Exactly. That's why I got blocked by him. Fuck him, dude. I don't give a shit. Dude, when you start saying that shit, I'm like, raid this guy's hard drive now. Like, what are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? So, because he was talking shit about like, fuck, some sort of righty leaning view, and then he was like, "Oh, if you just disagree with me, apparently the right leaning view is calling me a fag." And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What do you got?" I said, well, I said something like, what do the kids that you talk about think about? Or I said we could write another age of consent book of how they should be like younger. Something along the vein that he blocked me. I was like, get fuck you fucking.
Dude, he got called
worst
faggot
type of
like
libertarian.
1,000 times on Twitter that day. once
You know,
he
one of
posted
my one of my first experiences on Twitter, like one of the most memorable ones, like since I got back on in 2021, was somebody had said that like Jeremy Kaufman had told a 15-year-old to suck his dick or something like that.
That's
I
true.
And
remember
That's
underneath it, that whole thread was just people saying, suck my dick. It was like
Yeah.
50 or 60
Yeah.
people.
yeah. Very funny.
Literally,
remember
there was a tower of people saying, suck my dick. All these people typed it out. People quote tweeted it. I'm like, man, that is
Yeah.
gold.
Well,
No,
what's crazy though is like in
I
the
would not have done
context
that.
is like the kid insulted Jeremy online, and Jeremy didn't know the kid was 15. He just
Right.
Yeah.
insulted
He's like,
him
suck my dick.
back,
Right.
and then it was like, oh, he's 15. How can you say that? And it's just like they're trying to like go at him, like
Right.
It's like it's like
dude,
the
who wasn't
big
in
I don't
Xbox
actually
Live
want
saying
you
these
to
things when they were 15?
blow
Like,
me.
shut up.
Right.
Yeah,
It was all the lefty libertarians and shit who were like, you fucking, oh, now it's okay to fucking like say that to kids. It's like, dude, he didn't know, like, type of, he didn't know he was a fucking kid. He was just saying, suck my dick to some rando on the internet. I do that all day.
Also, if
Like,
you're
give the
15,
fuck.
why are you on Twitter? Get off Twitter. What's wrong with
Facts.
parents?
Yeah, bad
Twitter's
parenting.
probably worse than anywhere else to be as a 15-year-old.
Seriously.
Hey,
Go
Eagles
back to
losing 3-0,
Reddit.
by the way,
What the hell's
Sam.
wrong with you? Yeah, well, suck my dick.
How dare you? I'm 15.
I want to see if I could find that before we get off.
That was
that was-
funny.
I wanted to tell this story because we were talking about dogs in the beginning, and I actually
Reading
read
the
this the other day. It
dogs.
won't take very long for me to get through this, but did you know that a story about a dog is probably the only time that we know of that made the Emperor Napoleon cry?
Really?
It's kind of, yeah, he wrote about this when he was in exile. It won't take me long. It's like a paragraph or two. But basically, after the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon's walking up to like the carnage, and he's seeing like, all these dead, his troops, the Russian troops, all dead. And this dog barking and whining got his attention. And he followed this dog, and the dog led him to this dog's owner, and the dog is whining over his owner's dead body. And this is what he wrote. He said, perhaps in the spirit of the time and the place that affected me, but I assure you no occurrence of any of my other battles impressed me so keenly. I halted on my tour to gaze on the spectacle and to reflect on its meaning. This soldier, I realized, must have had friends at home and in his regiment, yet he lay here, deserted by all except his dog. I had looked on unmoved at battles which decided the fate of nations. Tearlessly, I had given orders which brought death to thousands of men. Yet here, as I was stirred, profoundly stirred to tears. And by what? By the grief of one dog.
That's actually crazy. Yeah. Also, I get it because I'll cry over any dog death. So
It's just
I won't watch
crazy.
movies with dogs in it just because I don't want to have to go down that road.
I think it's crazy. He says in the passage, he's like, I sent men to their death in the thousands, but yet I cry over a dog. And you're
In the
like,
millions,
what the
really.
That's so crazy, dude.
But that does go to show you how much like we all hate people, and just like I'd rather have 1,000 people die than one dog. If you had to give me, like I say this all the time, if
Depends
you
on
went down like a
what
list of just every person in the world, and it was like this person dies or your dog dies, it would take me billions of people to get
Look
to
at
be like,
that.
all right,
Look
stop.
who's a good boy. Look at that. You're telling me you're gonna eat him?
Yeah. There is
Right
like a
there.
weird connection. I mean, I don't know if it's weird per se, but there is like a serious connection between human beings and dogs.
Well,
that
because we evolved them. That's why.
I think they evolved with us. Yeah. And like
They
and it's
evolved
kind
with
of,
us. I think it's more accurate.
and it's just kind of crazy that like they are pretty much considered part of the family. Like people would
100%.
sacrifice
100%. Dude,
people before they would save their own dog.
we had to put my family dog down last Monday. I know it's sad. He was 15 years old as a lab, which is crazy long time to live. You know, had a great,
yeah.
yeah, he had a fucking amazing life. But that was my dad's buddy. And like I just saw my dad this weekend. He came out to dinner with me. Well, my parents came out to dinner with my wife and I, and like he was noticeably like off. Like he was still like so upset. I was upset too, but like I didn't live with him as long as my dad did, and my dad took care of him every fucking day. Like my dad took care of him till like the reason why they put him down finally is because like he just stopped eating and like just wouldn't even move, and then like it was just time. Dude, my dad took care of that dog like a fucking baby up until his death, man. Like so yeah, I don't give a shit about 7 billion people. I care about my fucking dogs. Yeah, I genuinely don't care. like they are family members, you know. It's
true, man.
100%, dude. When my dog dies, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. So.
Dude, my dad was pretty sad when his dog died.
Yeah,
like it was like I watched him, watch his parents die, and I mean, there was some emotion, not a lot, but when his dog died, dude, I'm not even kidding.
Yeah,
it was rough to talk to him.
I saw my dad cry twice in his entire life, and one was because his mom died, and the second one was because the dog got put down. And my dad's not like a super tough guy or anything like that. He's not like some like I'm way more of an asshole than my dad is. Like my dad's a very happy-go-lucky dude. But like he's still kind of stoic in that sense where he's like, I don't really, I don't get like emotional like that. Like he gets sad, but like I saw him cry twice in my whole fucking life. And I was like, damn, dude, that shit hits home. I'm gonna be fucking a little pussy when my dog dies. I'll be like, I don't know what to do.
Dude, so when my childhood dog died, dude,
dude. I mean, I cried over my putting my dog down. Like, so my parents live in Jersey, live like an hour from me. And I saw the last time I saw him was Sunday. I went out there and spent all day with him because they were putting him down Monday, and I was fucking rock solid all day. I was trying to be because dogs feel your emotion and shit, like I don't want to be like crying around my dog like before he gets put down the next day. So I'm like, nope, I'm gonna be fucking cool. I'm gonna be just pet him and sit with him and watch football with him. And then right when I left, I bent over, I kissed him on the head. I was like, bud, I love you forever. I'm going to see you soon. And I was like, boom. I fucking waterworks, dude. I cried for a third of the ride home, like just like a fucking baby. And I called my wife. I was like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. I'll admit that
okay,
day.
you know what? I'll share my revoking my alpha male card. My wife and I adopted a Doberman, and this dog needed more attention we could give it. And like I actually talked to the owners because we were a member of a Doberman Facebook group, and like this dog's doing fantastic. We had him for about a month, and he wasn't getting along with our pit bull. And like, unfortunately, we just had to choose because like it's kind of unfair for her that we moved a dog in, and then like this dog's not getting along with the other dog, and we only had it for about a month. We took it back to the shelter, and like I spent almost $1,000 in getting this dog because like when we got it from the shelter, I had coccidia and giardia. As soon as we watched them take the dog, I know what those are.
A beaver shit disease is giardia.
Yeah, it's basically a stomach bug and a certain kind of like sickness that they get from that. But anyways, as soon as they took the dog downstairs to go put it back in the shelter, my wife leaned right on my shoulder and started bawling her eyes out, and I kind of lost it too. And we only had the dog for a month.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Oh,
that's
and
the thing,
he was
dude.
awesome.
Like I don't think like the whole like alpha male, like dude, like I think
It's a
actually
joke,
if you
baby.
don't cry over your dog, I think you're a piece of shit. Like I don't think you're a man. I really don't. Like I think part of that, like if your child dies, or your wife dies, or like your dog dies, that's a very normal reaction to have. And if you don't, then you're a fake fucking tough guy. I genuinely believe that. Like I really do. I'm like, no, because like being a man is also part of like showing emotion when it hits. It's like fuck. Like there's some fucking red pill douchebag podcaster who is like, oh, and the apocalypse, like women are useless. I'm like, okay, I get your point. I'm like, so you would.
I know who that is.
I'm like, so you would leave your wife
Debate
behind,
me, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, so you would leave your wife behind? I'm like, it's the lowest male t-shirt I ever heard in my fucking life, you fucking pussy. like, fuck that shit. I disagree with that shit all day. Anyway, I gotta go home now. But I love you guys.
Oh, geez, guys, we're already over an hour.
Okay, do your plugs quick. Because
Adam Nutter on Twitter. Follow me. And follow me, do comedy.
Don't do it.
Okay, don't do that.
No, okay, do it.
Kamatovic, Common Crown, in Liberty and Health. I have Craig Pasta-Jardula coming on Wednesday.
At the Real Typo on Twitter. That's all I got.
Fighting the Bullet podcast.
Yeah.
Do the thing.